I'm Ryan Brown, and I'll be auditioning for the part of Catherine's husband today. So we got some good questions that we're gonna answer. Hope y'all are having fun at the bachelorette party. So Catherine and I met in grad school at A&M. I remember she was like the first one in our program who like sent me a friend request on Facebook, and it was that summer going into grad school. I met her at grad school orientation. I remember her mentioning something about how she had a boyfriend, and so I was kind of like, man, that sucks. But we got to know each other more as we were both TAs for Management 363. Got to know each other over the first semester of grad school and then the beginning of the second semester, and then started dating later in that second semester. So that's the amazing story about how we met. Our first date was at Ozona in College Station, which unfortunately is no longer there. I offered to pick her up, and I did pick her up for the first date, and she was very insistent on me not picking her up. She was like, no, don't go out of your way or anything like that. And I said that, don't worry about it, it's on the way, it's no biggie. And it most certainly was not on the way. It was actually completely out of the way for me. But I felt the need to pick her up and be a gentleman and do that. So went to Ozona, had burgers. We both had like an exam that we had to take, and probably should not have gone on a first date, but it was really great, and I'm glad it worked out and we ended up doing it. So great first date. Well, our first kiss, it was an afternoon, and I had taken her to this like park next to my old house in Bryan, and I told her how I felt about her. And she will tell you now that this was like way too soon, and I was getting into it like really quickly, basically professing my feelings and saying I wanted to date her very quickly into the process. We did not say that we were dating after that conversation, but we definitely established a connection and some feelings, some mutual feelings there. We had gone to Mas Fajitas in College Station afterwards and kind of hung out that day. And then that night, I dropped her off at her apartment at the Gardens, and I like hugged her goodbye. And then I said, can I kiss you? And she will say to this day that that was weird of me to do, but I was like, I'm gonna be a gentleman about this. I'm gonna ask you if I can. And she was like, yes. And then we kissed in the parking lot of the Gardens, and that was that. So not super romantic, but you know, it was a good first kiss. I think we would both say that. So yeah, that's our first kiss story. What's my favorite thing about Catherine? There are a lot of things that I really love about Catherine, but I think my favorite thing about her is that she is someone that's very driven, someone that works very hard, can be very serious about like her career, about life, and really taking things seriously. But at the same time, once she's done doing all of that stuff, she is the giggliest, you know, funnest person to be around, who is so easygoing, who is just a goofball and has this really wonderful sense of humor that will really make anyone laugh, and it's very infectious and can brighten up a room. So I think that's my favorite thing about her, is that any time spent with her is just a good time. She can be really easygoing. When she's not being her typical type A self, she's very laid back and very carefree and has this really infectious personality that's amazing and makes you feel incredible. She's for sure gonna say my sense of humor, being able to make her laugh. And I really appreciate that, because that's one of my favorite things to do, is to make her laugh. I kind of like do this thing where I'll say something and she'll start laughing, and then it's like having a fish on a hook and trying to reel that in. So once she's on the hook, then I kind of like keep digging into that and keep trying to make her laugh more and more to the point where she's in tears. So she definitely loves my sense of humor, and I love being able to make her laugh and see that joy and that smile on her face. I don't think there's one moment in particular that stands out where like I'm gonna marry Catherine. I think it's kind of a gradual process where you have these little milestone moments throughout your relationship that kind of build up to I'm gonna marry this girl. So I think the first time I had one of those was that first summer that we were dating. We were both back in Houston for internships. Her family was in Colorado for the 4th of July. She had to stay in Houston to work, and so we were over at my family's house celebrating the 4th of July, and my sister was over there with her kids, and my nephew was there. And just kind of seeing Catherine interact with Charlie, my nephew, very early on in our relationship, that to me was something that really stood out, was really important. You know, I knew that I wanted a spouse who would invest in my niece and nephews just as much as I do, and I saw her doing that. And I saw her really just invest in the kids and everything. And over the course of our relationship, through our engagement, I seen those kids like grow to see Catherine as like their favorite person in the world. They're always asking about Catherine. Whenever they see Catherine, they go crazy. I remember Thanksgiving, we were going back to my family's house when they were all there, and the first person that comes running out the door to see Catherine is Charlie. And so being able to see her relationship with them definitely has encouraged my decision to propose and marry Catherine. Other moments that I thought I was going to marry her, obviously everyone knows that I have lost a pretty substantial amount of weight over the course of the past 2 years. And I remember when we first got to Dallas, I sat Catherine down and I talked to Catherine, and I was like, I really want to, you know, become healthier, lose more weight, everything like that. You know, I wanted to go on this whole personal health journey. And the very first thing that Catherine said to me was, make sure that you're doing this for yourself and don't be doing this for me, because don't be thinking that I want you to change or anything like that. And I knew that Catherine loved me for who I was, no matter what I looked like or anything like that. So I think that was just a testament to Catherine and the way that Catherine loves and the way that she kind of loves unconditionally. So those were two moments that I think really stood out, that were light bulb moments for me that I want to marry this girl. Oh, wow. Catherine will be the first to say that she does not cook that often, but she does do pretty well on meal preps and things like that. And I will say the times when she does cook, she does a pretty damn good job of it. I think she doesn't give herself enough credit for her cooking, but I typically, because I like to cook, that's like my hobby for me, I like to do more of the cooking. But I will say that anything that Catherine bakes is the most amazing thing in the world. She is the best baker I've ever met in my life, hands down. Everything she bakes is really, really good. And I think the best thing that she does bake is her birthday cakes. She loves doing that on her birthday every year. She does that for my birthday, for anything really. She makes incredible, incredible birthday cakes that definitely help make birthdays a bit more special. So I'm going to answer this in two parts. The first one's going to be more like her personality, and then the second is going to be, you know, her as a person and everything. So first thing that I find really attractive about her is Catherine's intelligence. I think that Catherine is incredibly, incredibly smart and wise. Smarter than me by like a long shot, and everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. But I think I see her in work doing the complex things that she's doing, things that like I can't even imagine myself doing, and just her ability to like deliver on those things like really, really, really successfully. I think that's really attractive, and just seeing her be a complete girl boss about everything, like that's very attractive to me. She's not going to put up with any BS or anything like that. Like she's strictly business, and that's really, really hot, to be honest with you. But the second thing that I find really attractive isn't necessarily like one specific thing in general. I think it's a culmination of a lot of things, but Catherine's body just in general is amazing. Just Catherine as a person, from her head to her toes, everything in between. I think that She is this like short, physically fit, just very perfect individual that God created. Beautiful hair, beautiful smile, beautiful eyes, beautiful everything about her. And I genuinely think she's the most beautiful girl in the world. And every day I look at her and I'm just like, wow, what is she doing with a guy like me? But I got very lucky. I'm very, very fortunate to be with a girl that is as attractive and beautiful as Catherine. And I definitely don't take that for granted at all. So she'll probably want me to say something like her smile or her eyes or something like that, but I have to be honest, and Catherine, since this is your bachelorette party, I think we can get a little raunchy with this, but my favorite body part of hers is 100% her butt. Definitely her butt. Catherine has an ass that is out of this world, and I think she knows it too. It is just very, very perfect and a very great part of her body that I appreciate a lot. And I know that Catherine is getting super embarrassed listening to this right now, but what did I say? I had to be honest with it. So, Catherine, you have a really great butt, and I really appreciate your butt. So, yeah. I think the thing that gets under her skin the most, I bite my nails at times. I think I've gotten better about it, but I definitely do that. I think that's a big one. Sometimes I leave dishes in the sink, but I think that kind of like cancels out the things that she does. So we both kind of have these little things that we do that get under each other's skin. Um, I would say that those are two pretty big things I think that get under her skin. Yeah. Not like one big thing that really stands out. I think there's a bunch of little things that Catherine knows get under my skin. Um, but little things like she leaves every cabinet open. Like if she opens a cabinet, she'll leave it in there. She will like leave spoons in the refrigerator to like come back to later, I guess. Like if she's eating yogurt or something, she will leave the yogurt spoon in the fridge. And another thing that she does is like when we're out in public, specifically at the grocery store, she will like talk about people out loud, like right in front of those people. Like if we're passing someone in Costco, she'd be like, "Oh, look, they have those cookies in their cart," and like just out loud, like not anything bad necessarily, just talking about them. And I don't think she like registers that they can like 100% hear you. So haven't had any issues with that, but I do think people hear the things that she says. So, okay, Hannah, I think you just like threw this one in here just to make me embarrassed. But we really only have, I guess, one nickname for each other. Well, we've had a couple. I used to call her Goose, and I think that originated because Sarah and Ashley, Gabrielle Rodman, in grad school, would post Goodnight Gus photos on Instagram of her foster dog Gus. So then I started saying Goodnight Goose to Catherine whenever I would text her goodnight. So Goose was one kind of in the early stages in our relationship. For the past like 2 years since we've been in Dallas, Catherine had been calling me Nug, N-U-G, as in short for nugget, I assume. So we kind of started calling each other that, and that has stayed for like 2 years, which I am also aware that Catherine and Hannah call each other that at times. So I feel like I'm kind of number two to Hannah in that situation, but yeah, for the past 2 years I've been Nug, she's been Nug, and it's stuck. I think shopping. Since dating Catherine, since being in Dallas specifically, I have done a lot of shopping on the weekends and things like that. Going to Old Navy, going to Ulta, all of these places that, to be honest with you, I do not care about at all and do not want to step foot in. But I do it anyway because I love Catherine and I know it means a lot to her, especially, being up in Dallas and everything, not having a lot of people around us here. she needs a girl best friend at her disposal. And so I think that sometimes I step into that role of girl best friend. I don't really know what Catherine wants out of it other than me just being there, because sometimes we'll be clothes shopping and things like that, and she'll ask me for my opinions on things. And I don't think she knows that I don't have an opinion on things. I think everything looks nice. I don't know what is good from what is bad at all. But I try my best to formulate an opinion and to tell her, oh, that looks really good, or oh, maybe we should try something else. I've become a better shopper specifically for clothes over the course of our relationship. So I definitely take her shopping whenever she needs to go shopping. And yeah, I think that's my way of showing, one of the ways that I show my love for her is going shopping with her. And I know that she really appreciates that. So I continue to do it. All right, she is sexiest when she wears that little sage dress that I like. That sage dress and I have a lot of really great fond memories, I think. Starting with Hannah's rehearsal dinner was the first time I saw her in that dress. And when she came out of the room ready to go, I was 100% blown away. I love this dress, y'all. I love this dress. Whenever she wears it, this like overwhelming feeling of testosterone just comes out of me, and I want to pounce on her like I'm a tiger. I don't know how to describe it any other way, but she is sexy in this dress. She's worn that to the opera, she's worn that to weddings, rehearsal dinners, and that dress gets me every single time. It gets me going. If you could wear a sage dress as a bride at your wedding, I would 100% want her to wear that. But I know that I am also going to like her wedding dress as well. But hopefully after our wedding, there's many more times where she will wear the sage dress. So I think the funniest thing is that Catherine is this very pure, very innocent girl who has such a good heart. But whenever, or there are specific times, specifically most of the time when we're driving, if there's like another car that's merging or something like that, very suddenly Catherine will just be like, shit, 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 shit. And then like immediately after she'll be like, sorry for my language. I'm sorry for my language. And she'll like say that 5 times. And I'm just like, Catherine, you are a 25-year-old woman. You can say shit if you want to. I'm not offended by that at all or anything. But anytime that she curses, she will immediately become like very apologetic, acting like I'm some authoritative figure over her. But I'm just like, Catherine, you can say whatever you want to say. So I always thought that was pretty funny that she does that. Other than that, I mean, she does like a little, she always does little funny things that are kind of just out of the blue, out of character for her, that I think are pretty funny. Like I said before, I mean, she's a very funny girl, has a great sense of humor, and likes to goof around a lot. So I appreciate that about her. I think that honestly, the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is just continuing to live this life that I have right now with Catherine, continuing to go through the course of life, the little daily things that we do, the grocery store trips, the things that are often seen as like mundane and kind of monotonous for people in everyday life, getting to do that with my absolute best friend in the whole world. Those little moments that are boring to a lot of people become really exciting moments, and I get to live that every single day with Catherine and live my life with my best friend. There's so much I'm looking forward to the travel that we'll do in our lives together, the adventures, bringing kids into the world, and watching them grow up and raising them together. There's no one else that I'd want to do that with or carry on the rest of my life with other than Catherine. I think I truly have lucked out, and I thank God every day for putting Catherine into my life and for somehow making it to where her and I can be together. She sees the best in me every single day. I see the best in her every single day, and she helps me grow, and we help each other grow to become better people day in and day out. She is truly one of a kind, the most special person that I've ever met, the most amazing person that I've ever met, and I really cannot wait to live the rest of my days with her and grow old with her and look back on this whole process when we're 90 and just have a big smile on our face. Just really thankful that everything worked out the way that it did. So Catherine, I love you, and I hope that you're having a great time on your bachelorette trip, and I can't wait to see you when you get back.